It's preparing to live stream now. Oh. Virginia, you may have to.
My phone?
You may have to connect. It's not working for me. Oh no, it says this meeting is being live streamed. By staying, you consent to be live streamed. Okay. I guess it's working now.
It says live on YouTube. And I got a notification to say that we're being live streamed.
Okay. Then I will share my screen.
Stand.
Agenda. And Sylvana can start the meeting.
Engage know the place. Okay, welcome everyone. It's Wednesday, October 11th. It's 12:03. And I would like to call the meeting to order for the Historic Sites Board. The meeting is being held, attended by Zoom and in person, and being live streamed on the City of Sault Ste. Marie YouTube channel. I think we'll start with Kathy and the Land Acknowledgement.
Thank you, Sylvana. We acknowledge with respect that we are meeting in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, known as Bawating. Bawating is the home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and Historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Declaration of pecuniary interest. Any conflicts with the agenda today? None noted. Next, adoption of our agenda. We need a motion to for the Historic Board meeting for October 11th. Someone to motion. Charlotte.
Charlotte's hand and Heather.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Resolved that the agenda for the Historic Sites meeting for October 11th as presented be approved, and all in favor carried. Okay. Adoption of the minutes for people that were present September 27th meeting. Sandra?
I'll second.
Okay, Brittany?
Sandra and sorry, who?
Brittany was.
Brittany.
Oh, Heather.
Heather,
Oh, it's okay. I think Brittany's on the call. She's there too.
I was looking there. Sorry, Heather. Heather seconded. All in favor? Resolved. And next on the agenda is any business arising. Kathy?
The business arising is today's agenda, which is budget review.
Okay, so we move on to the accounts. 2024 operating budget submission.
So today I happen to have all the information. I'm just going to scroll down if you can see my screen. So this Virginia was very helpful in helping me gather the information off the software that the city uses to do a comparison for you. So we have a full operating budget from 2018 right through till this year, 2023, of approved budgets. And first of all, I would like to point out in your package is the following sheet, which is what we got last month in September's meeting with what I submitted. And it is with a few adjustments on line items that we talked about. But so the comparison though, first of all, this yellow box in the bottom left corner shows you everything that is not in the operating budget. That Virginia was very helpful in reminding me that these are all the things we don't have to pay because the site is owned and operated by the municipality. So these are all covered, which, other institutions have to pay. So they have to buy insurance and pay taxes and do auditing and those sorts of things. So that's not in our budget. The other thing is we have received annually asset management funding, which is on the city. The buildings are on the city's asset management plan and the grounds. And so we've been very fortunate to have restoration dollars every year. And we have identified for 2024 another 160. Not sure when it gets to council what will be approved, but that's sort of next that was in that outlay of information on the asset management plan. There is a plan for 2024 to do more restoration, roofing and things on the buildings. So there, and on top of that, I spoke about this at the last meeting. We do have a request in for a service level increase of 1 full-time position. So that's also in for council's review. So back to the sort of the overview from 2018 to 2023 to answer some of the questions from the last meeting. We do have an increase over time. So expense-wise, we have received over time 16,657 of an increase, and more so on salaries. But 68,500 approximately over the last 5 years has been the increase. Because there was questions about the operating budget on that. Is there anything on this one that anyone has any questions about? Virginia and I might be able to answer. It was just a really good review, and I didn't have it at my fingertips at our last meeting when we talked about budget.
I just want to make a comment. Really good overview. And for me, I like how you box those two portions off. So that has cleared up many of my questions that I had from the last meeting.
These two things, yeah.
Yeah. Well done.
Any other questions or comments?
So with that, this is what had been submitted. As I said, we looked at the actuals and I did some minor adjustments on line items without really changing the operating budget. So you will see some differences, not a lot, just depending on how, like the water and gas bills are coming in, those kinds of things. Operating supplies and maintenance and alterations. So you kind of look at one line against another and how the actuals have come in.
Sandra has a question.
Could be my eyes, but why did you put water and electric lower? Because electricity has always seemed to be increasing.
The actuals actually are coming in lower.
Oh, interesting.
So, and if I'm wrong, then we always end up sort of with the ability, if we go over on our courses, which we're already at the 39,000 this year, and we still have another quarter of the year to go. So as we bring in more revenue, it allows us the flexibility on the expenses. So we've never not been fiscally responsible on site.
May I ask another question? Can you explain again, what do you mean by port security?
Oh, that's the line item name. It actually for us is just security. So I think that's also for the marinas.
You said that's the city responsibility. Yeah.
This is just when it's either the security camera system, the security alarm system, and live in-person security. That's what that line item is for our site.
And I guess one final question, like, what line do you pull from if you have a miscellaneous, something that we just did not account for? Such as, you know,
Miscellaneous
there it is.
in the past has been if we have to purchase lunches for reenactors or the Historic Sites Board, anything that is, it's sort of, it's in that catch-all that doesn't quite go in any of the others. So that this past year we have had to do some purchasing in those areas, so it's usually a zero budget in that line item, so I've just made a minor adjustment again.
Thank you, that's all for me.
Does anyone have any further questions then, either about the situation we have over time and our budgeting, and then or what we're proposing? If there's any line items that we did talk about, travel and training. I think it was just 2-3 years ago. Charlotte might remember, we did put this up a lot, almost doubled it. So we should be okay. I'm thinking with what the amounts are in there.
Charlotte has a question, I believe.
And this included, oh, yes. And this included attendance on the Ontario Museum Conference, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I do recall that.
Yes, so the training and travel is, for the most part, it is the Ontario Museum Association's annual conference, which hasn't happened, you know, over the course of the last few years. It is coming up in April in Niagara in conjunction with the Canadian Museum Association. But it also could be, as we mentioned at the last meeting, their registration for the Northern Ontario Tourism Summit. So, you know, or if there's any webinars, we've been taking webinars, things like that. Anything that we feel is useful professional development. Further questions? Well, Madam Chair, if there is, we are usually Historic Sites Board approves the budget submission. So I did put a resolution on the agenda.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the 2024 budget preparation for Ermitanger and Clerk operations as presented. So we need someone to motion that.
I'll move it.
David, And a seconder,
I can second.
Sandra. All in favor? Okay. So resolved, it approved the 2024 budget preparation. Operations as presented. And next is curator's report. Third quarter key performance indicators.
This chart was in your agenda package. And so as I was stating about the numbers, we are currently total visitation, 25,000 people on the property this year so far, and we're only at Q3, the end of the third quarter, and which is nice to see again. As you can see, 2020 and 2021 during the pandemic years, and because we were open, we weren't open, and all of that, we did manage to get a few people, but we're getting back up there, which last year was 26 for the total year. With the amount of people in just from the 2 cruise ships today, we've probably gone past 26. So, and you can see in the last quarter was, I wrote it down here in the bottom left corner, Q3 is poutine, strawberry, blueberry, and fall rendezvous. So the numbers under special events is high because of those. And some of it did at the end of June go into that. But so that's just, we do this every quarter for the municipality, but also this is exactly the information we have to also hand in annually in the annual report for community museums with the province. So any questions on that?
Sandra?
I was doing, special events, is that where weddings are put under?
No, weddings are, because it's a venue rental,
Oh,
are
okay.
in these gold numbers here, but we haven't had any yet this year.
And
Not like in past years, we've had like 6 bookings of 6 weddings or special venue rentals, and yeah.
And I think usually you do this probably in the future. You'll probably provide us a report to break down at the year end, out of the 25,000 or out of the 26,000 visitors, how many were schools, how many cruise ships, how many were just, people coming in on their own and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so general visitors is this white line, and you can see really 1,400 out of that 25,000. So those are just walk-in people so far this year. The highest we've ever been is in 2019 with almost 5,000 walk-in people. So we're not, I guess that point of tourism, we're not back to those numbers. However, group tours are back, and we have it broken down in this yellow section: cruise ships, bus tours, and group tours. So these numbers, there will be a few more in the fourth quarter because we still have cruise ships coming in, but so we're getting 1,000 people. Where I'm just looking, off of cruise ships, just walk-ins. That's not group tour bookings off the cruise ships.
Okay.
So.
And one other question, going back to the cruise ships, not to answer it today, however, I'm sure cruise ships always seem to be giving us feedback on what we do well at. I'd be curious to see what type of feedback, if we do get any feedback from the cruise ships on what they think of our program, what they think of our facility. Maybe in the future we can dive into that if the board agrees.
Yeah, and when we prepare the annual report, I like to try and put some of those reviews and comments into that section. So,
Thank you.
and that's really, other than the fact that right now we are getting our restored windows put back in, and so there's even a little more chaos on the property, as there's 3 guys out there trying to get the windows, the new restored windows, back in, and at the same time fix window framing and window sills. So it'll all be done probably in another, they say another week, 2 at the most.
Yeah, I saw the lights on last night. I wasn't sure if it was them or the ghost again.
It might be. They've been working long hours. They worked all through Thanksgiving too. That's all for my report.
Any other questions or statement before we adjourn?
Except that Kathy and her team, you do great work, and I know that you were down to a skeleton team, and you just blow me away on how much revenue you generate, and just again, well done.
Thank you.
I hope Virginia heard that.
It's very impressive. So our next meeting is November the 8th in the summer kitchen, and we just need someone to motion to adjourn.
I can do that.
Sandra?
I can second.
Brittany, thank you. Yeah, I'll never forget that now. Please, everyone, we're adjourned then.
I want to thank everyone. It was a sort of a spur of the moment meeting, and we had to do hybrid because we've got, as I said, a cruise ship in. So thanks for taking the time, and we'll see you in November again. In person.
Have a good day.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop sharing.
And bye, everybody.